And we said earlier on that we'll be talking about devolution, and our guests are already in the building. In studio, I have Honorable Seth Mwatela Kamanza, he is the Speaker of Kwale County, and Titus Mukanzi, who is an advocate of the High Court. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
We are good. And you?
I'm good. I'm doing good.
Wasikilizaji wetu.
Wako salama. I would like to believe wako salama.
Kama wanasikiliza wako vizuri.
Sindio?
Kuna msanii anasema fresh barida.
Yeah. Anaitwa Steve Simple Boy.
Steve Simple Boy.
Ndio hivyo. Jamaa siku hizi anavaa kweli. Anavaa nguo zingine za ajabu sana.
Yeah. It's money.
Pesa. Kama vile ndo pesa inafanya mtu.
You don't want it.
Sijasema hivi.
Don't chase it away. Yeah, don't chase it away. So I was in Kwale County last week.
Yes.
The better part of last week, by the way. And it's beautiful. Yeah, I would like to, it's beautiful. It's green. Alafu weather it's a bit different from the kind of weather we have in Mombasa. Yeah.
Which part of Kwale?
Was I within the CBD?
Unajua wewe ndio ulienda
sasa. Ngoja. So, tulikuwa kwa is it commissioner's office and
great.
then we went to the courts.
Yes.
The magistrates.
Yes.
Hukuvaa sweta.
And it was a bit cold.
It's cold. It has temperatures sometimes like almost as the same as Nairobi.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into it. So the 9th Devolution Conference was held in Homa Bay. 13th all the way to 15th. And the theme was For the People, for Prosperity, Devolution as a Catalyst for Equity, Inclusion and Social Justice. Now, the president emphasized that 4 trillion shillings had been transferred to counties in 12 years. And equitable share increased by 30 billion shillings to 415 billion shillings, with all outstanding balances cleared. We'll talk about that. Now, if we look at devolution, let's start with what was the whole purpose of devolution before we talk about whether it has worked or not. What is the sole purpose of devolution? Because devolution has created space for you, that position that you have, that's a fruit of devolution, right? What is the whole purpose of it?
The whole purpose of devolution was to take the resources or devolve most of the resources to grassroots.
Yeah.
Or rather, for many years, probably say 60, we used to have a centralized system whereby the government used to sit in Nairobi and would decide what would be gotten in districts that are far-fetched from Nairobi. Therefore, for the last 60 years, everything or develop-wise was being decided in Nairobi.
Yeah.
But right now, it is upon 85% remains in Nairobi and 15% is divided equally to the devolved units, which means that for the last 13 years, because last week we were celebrating 13 years of devolution. For the last 13 years, at least, there are devolved subjects that have been handed over fully, almost fully, but partially fully, I would say, to the county government, whereby you find that, for example, let me give the things that are really devolved.
Yeah.
For example, the ECD. ECD means early childhood development. Yeah. We have agriculture. We have let me start ECD, agriculture, health. We have management of the beaches. We have management of certain resources that are scheduled, and you see, it's not that wide that most of the things that have been devolved. But for the 13 years, the government has been slowly giving out those mandates until today. And I think even the president the other time created a committee that needs to recheck at what percentage we are.
Yeah.
And I can assure you it's not even past 45%.
What would it look like if everything was fully devolved?
Chaos.
Now, I want to give you a picture.
Yeah.
For the last 60 years, ask yourself, that village that you're coming from, ile ushago uko ndani kabisa. What kind of development did it see in the last 60 years and now? From the village I come from, for the last 60 years, hatujawai kuwa na barabara, hatujawai kuwa hata na kabridge, hatujawai kuwa ni shule tu peke yake ndio niliyoiona imejengwa. So kufikia sahi, it is only now that I could see a dispensary being built, an ECD is being built. I'm just pointing out the 13 years that I've seen. I've seen water pipelines where I come from. I have seen some street lighting in the village, you can imagine. So for the last 13 years, yes, devolution has been here with us. But what have I seen between the 13 years vis-a-vis the 60 years that I have seen? It is what I've just said. Therefore, from where I'm seated, I think devolution is working, not to the best of what we would want to be right now, but I think the baby steps are on the right track. Ni vitu tu kidogo tunatekana tu kupanel bit so that I know you would say corruption in your mind. I know you would say wastage of resources in your mind. Hizo ni vitu zenye zinaeleweka. Because as the system started in 2013 to 2017, there were no systems. You can imagine there were no systems. The governors used to get the resources. Hakukuwa na ati control of budget or something. Things, pesa ilikuwa inaekwa hapo, na ikishaekwa hapo, people use. Then we started developing. In around 2016, 2017, thereabout, a control of budget was brought in. Now there were systems, there were tools, there were even ways and which the governors could even do appropriation. Then there was the appropriation act that came in, the CARA came in, the resource revenue equalization fund came in. So as we are moving, there is something that is actually happening.
So you're saying it's working?
No, it's working because I'm right now working there.
All right.
Why am I saying that? It is because ask yourself how many people are employed. We start by the employment at the county governments. We have so much employment. Personally, as an advocate, I would be in Nairobi, but I had to come from Nairobi to sahi unapata vijana wengi wamerudi mashinani kwa sababu ya zile ajira ambazo zinatokea pale. Kwa hivyo, why are we saying this? We are seeing the development. We are seeing we are seeing a lot of urban rural migration. Therefore, I think to some extent it's working, not to the best of what we would want it to be, but we are moving forward.
Okay.
Yes.
Titus.
Yes.
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Would you say devolution is working?
Whereas I would say we have witnessed the benefits of devolution. In the same breath, I would say devolution is not working. And I'm avoiding to say that it would have been better so that I don't fight my own statement. And I'm saying this because 13 years later, and you've been able to quote, this is close to 14 trillion. If among the benefits of devolution, we would sit here this morning and mention, as Honorable Speaker says, employment, then it qualifies that devolution is not working. The main purpose as to why devolution was enshrined in our constitution were for certain objectives. Of course, employment would be a consequence, but devolution was never meant for employment. First, devolution was meant to decentralize power from the national government to the county governments, so that there are equally other 47 centers of decision making, as opposed to one person or one entity in Nairobi making those decisions. Equally, devolution was meant to decentralize resources for development, so that employment can be termed as development, but it's not the core mandate of the county governments to foster employment. Remember, all levels of government are policy making centers, so that whatever decisions and policies are made by the county government empowers you and me to run our businesses. so that as agents and consumers of the decisions and policies of the county government, we are able to employ people in our own units, in our own businesses, and thereby contribute even in the revenue that the county is supposed to collect, and make devolution a success. But what is happening in our counties, you have seen from reports from the Auditor General, some counties have close to zero allocation on development and a bloated wage bill. It is for such reasons I would say devolution is not working. You imagine a governor somewhere with his executive and chief officers comfortably seated, paying salaries, and of course the other is left for other expenses to run government, and zero on development. Would you say devolution is working? It wouldn't. Another reason why devolution had to happen was to avoid political victimization, so that if a region did not support the government of the day, they are disenfranchised from how the national cake is shared. And again, that still takes us back to development. Anytime you hear anyone say of the national cake, it means a share of what is allocated for development by the national government to all parts of the country.
Yeah.
And come to the functions that the Honorable Speaker mentioned, the devolved functions, the ones listed under Schedule 4 of the Constitution. Say, for example, ECD. ECD is devolved to the county governments, and the other levels of education are still retained by the national government.
Yeah.
Every other day you'll hear the TSC has advertised positions for recruitment of teachers. Rarely do we hear county governments recruiting ECD teachers. Some of them have. But now when we're seated here, we will not cherry pick and handpick several counties and claim with the examples of those counties that devolution is working. There are counties where teachers of ECD are untrained teachers. So that people who left Form 4 and are still there in the village and are seeking employment opportunities, they are given an opportunity to teach our kids untrained. Many other places you'll see ECD children learning under trees and makeshift structures. Again, for such reasons, I'll tell you, devolution is not working. The other day, a politician was quoted saying that in the whole Western region, it is the order of the day to see ambulance with their sirens on, crisscrossing the roads to take their patients to Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret, a facility that is of the rank of a national hospital. And of course, the politician was passing a message that why would that be the case 13 years after devolution, to see ambulances all the way from Vihiga, from Kakamega, from Busia making their way to Uasin Gishu County for treatment? That tells you something. The healthcare system is collapsed. We're only seen to operate dispensaries and sometimes sub-county hospitals.
Yeah.
Where are the properly equipped hospitals where we would see referral patients treated at county level?
Yeah.
Again, for health reasons, we would say it's not working. Look at the agriculture sector. We would say agriculture is devolved, but the national government still passes policies to allocate fertilizer and what. And again, you'll see the county government struggling to do the same thing. And you realize there is duplication. So that a farmer down there in Kilifi County or Kakamega County or Trans Nzoia County has to fill forms to either pick fertilizer from the national government stores held by the NCPB, or you pick fertilizer from the county government. Why would the national government retain such a vital role to direct where farm inputs would go, when this can be devolved and focus be maintained to counties that would be termed as food baskets of the county?
I like that, because the speaker said that 85% of the resources are still with the national government and 15% have been devolved. So what is hurting devolution? What would you say is hurting it?
Okay, probably
because initially it was a good idea.
You know,
it was a good idea.
You
Still
know, when
is.
punches are thrown your way, you have to throw one or two. so I want to return a punch or two.
Yes, please.
First, before I go to, let me tell you, probably Wakili does not know, but the national government, to be sincere, has really frustrated devolution. in this way. You find that, for example, last year, they would say they allocated 409 billion to the county government. At that time, you remember, we had budget cuts at midway of the year, which brought the amounts down to 386 billion. Then someone comes again and gives you 415 billion this year for this financial year.
Yeah.
So you can imagine if, number one, at times you don't get the exchequer releases at the right time. For example, for the month of January, February, March, April, we didn't get any exchequer releases until we got it in May. Then for May, June, we did not get it until July, mid-July. Now I want to tell you the technicalities of it. It means you will go, for example, this year, right now, we are crossing over with pending bills. If you've heard anything about pending bills, it means the contractors that did the project last year will be called pending bills. That means there is a development that actually happened in that county, but in the books of account, it was not captured. And then when we come to this year, the amount that was not rolled over, it eats again to this budget. Tuko pamoja paka hapo. Haya, turudi kwa another thing. You see, at times the national government would say that we are giving probably an allocation to the county, and then the disbursement inakawia sana. So by that it means in the real sense you cannot actualize development, because a contractor will only will only finish the project once he's given as per the contractual schedule. And this is the issue. You find that most of the reports that we had last year, you find that most of the counties actually got zero development rates.
I'm happy he confirms.
You get? But on the ground, there is the development that actually, for example, like Nairobi, barabara ngapi zatengenezwa na county government last year. Even if you go, you will see so many roads were being done, but when the report comes, it indicates that why? It is because the controller of budget only approves work that has been requisitioned.
I have the report here.
Yes.
Honorable.
Yes.
Seth.
Yes.
That in the previous financial year, since according to the control of budget, Nairobi County only used 9%
Yes.
of its development budget, while Bungoma spent 11.7%.
Yes.
Mombasa and Taita Taveta performed even worse, using
Yes.
just 7.7% and 7% of their funds.
So know
Is
that
what you're talking about.
Yes, that's what I'm talking
Okay.
about. So what I'm trying to say, it is not that that budget was not used. It is just pending. It is in the pending bills. Therefore, you will, for example, this year, you will see most of the governors have done almost 150 to 200%. Now people will ask, why are these development being done to a tune of 200%? It is because most of the instances are the pending bills that were rolled over because of exchequer releases.
Would you, Bwana Speaker, would you be saying that this would be the first year to see the 150 and 200%? Because every other year this report comes out,
Yes.
we see 9%, 5%, 6%. What other year have we seen the 150, 200% where the explanation would be that this is this year's development and what was termed as pending bills from the previous year's development? But if you clearly heard how he presented his argument just now, you would clearly see development is not working. And we would perfectly understand why Bwana Speaker would say development is working. Either way, you wouldn't bite the hand that feeds you. But if the person in the rank of a county speaker would say the county performs does not perform optimally because there was no allocation of resources, how do you say in the same breath that devolution is working? You should join me in saying devolution is not working, and explain that among reasons why devolution is not working is the withholding of resources by the national government, or the slashing of the allocation, which is a result of whatever is the division of revenue bill that is done by the National Assembly and the Senate. And even so, maybe something to jog our mind. Why is it so that every other year when the division of revenue bill is being discussed, it gets to a point it has to go through a mediation and vote, whereas it shouldn't be just like any other ordinary bill being passed by the Houses of Parliament?
CDF.
That demonstrates and is expressed that forces within the national government wouldn't comfortably allow the county governments on the devolution to work. So in that, you have what you allocated last year, but it forms part of the discussion in the subsequent year that you want to reduce the allocation, which now brings a stalemate that leads to a mediation and all that. It is clear that although county governments self-sabotage themselves, again, the national government is not willing to do that which needs to be done to see devolution work.
Yeah.
Okay. Nafurahi nyote hapa ni mawakili. Now, swali langu naanza na wakili Seth, speaker, mheshimiwa. Inasemekana ama inasemwa ama iko hivyo kwamba maendeleo hayafai kuwa chini ya 30 ngapi vile? 35, right?
No,
hayafai kuwa chini ya hapo.
Yes.
Yanafaa 35 kwenda juu. Could it be hii kwamba imewekwa cap ya kwamba isiwe chini ya 35 ndio inafanya tunapata 20, 12, ama hiyo ikoje?
Barisa,
yes.
Venye nimetoka kuelezea ni kuwa katika budget mimi ningeomba muweze kutafuta zile budget za counties, and more so the first supplementary budget. You will find all those figures lazima zikue, hakuna budget ambayo hakuna county assembly inaweza pitisha budget iwe na allocation ya chini ya 35%. Sijui kama tuko pamoja paka hapo. Kitu ninakwambia, kwa mfano kama mimi niliingia 2022. 2022 tumeallocate 35%, but we could not actualize the 35, probably we actualize 20%. The 10%, the 15% will roll over to the next year, which the same amount itakuwa bado budgeted for the following year, meaning instead of that year ambayo ni 2023 itakuwa na ka allocation ka 35% tena ka development. So kitu ambacho ninahimiza haswa wananchi, because hii ni pesa ya wananchi na umma, ni waweze kuangalia ya kuwa kwa mfano kama bunge ambalo liliingia 2022 haikuna bunge ambalo linaweza pitisha chini ya ile, because it is under the PFM Act. Then ikiroll over, because development is the only aspect, na ndio maana sahi tumepitisha hii bili ya juzi ambayo tumeweza kuipitisha, ya kuwa it used to the recurrent haikuwa inaweza roll over. So kwa mfano kama kuna mtu aliniletea maji last year, ikifika June 30th hiyo pesa imepotea. You return it to the government. But if right now for the development wakati huo bado kabla hii bill ndio ilikuwa inakubaliwa ku roll over. Kwa mfano 2022 tumesema 35%. Ikifika 2024 tumetumia 20% kwa development, itakuwa 45. Itakuwa 50 because 35 plus 15 itakuwa 50. Ikifika 2024 labda hii 50 hatukuiactualize hata shilingi, ita roll over to the next budget, meaning zile development ambazo ziko pale na hizi vitu zote zinakuwa guided by the annual development plan. Sijui kama tuko pamoja paka hapo. So when you pick the annual development plan, you pick the supplementary, first supplementary, you merge those documents, you will understand, utaunderstand ya kuwa hakuna development ambayo haijawahi fanyika.
Now, specifically kwa sababu unatoka kaunti ya Kwale, tuulize tu kuhusiana na kaunti ya Kwale. Serikali inamudu kukusanya kima cha shilingi ngapi? Mnafika hata bilioni?
No, hatufiki,
Hamfiki.
lakini naweza sema yes.
Sawa. Na according to inaitwa nani wale wenye CRA,
yes,
Kwale inafaa kukusanya at least
3.2 billion.
Why all that period ya 12 to 13 mpaka sasa mko below par ya even mko mbali less than a billion to 3.2?
I will tell you,
yes.
It is about creating structures.
Okay.
And what I believe, service follows, the money follows service. The same way. Currently in Kwale, they are doing a lot of service unit centers. When we say service unit centers, mahali pa maokoto.
Okay.
For the many years, I can tell you, Kwale was below 10 in terms of poverty level. The first year, probably if I give an insight of Kwale. Kwale sisi ndio tulikuwa chini. Ulikuwa ukisikia wale wenye ni poor chini. Education chini. So I think the first governor when he came in, his vision was to remove that education. And I think in Kwale we were the first counties to ensure that bursary was being issued.
Yes, true.
And I think the governor then decided that wacha nifundishe watu, because secondary pia ilikuwa ni shida kupeleka watu, so aka make sure amewapeleka secondary, after secondary akawapeleka university. Right now we find most of the doctors are just coming from Kwale. The nurses, the technical personality ambayo inahitajika in various aspects. Yes. Wote utapata kuna wenyeji wa Kwale. 13 years ago we didn't have that. Ulikuwa unaweza tafuta daktari ambaye ni Mkwale, utampata mmoja ama wawili. But right now we have so many, and the county itself ensured that resource was actually done. Right now the county government has really emphasized on things doing blue economy, because I think that's the next frontier. So to your question is that Kwale kwa nini hatujaweza kupata ile resource, ni kwa sababu ukiangalia most of our units are rural based. Barisa enda tu lunga sahi. Lunga kuna nini? Hakuna kitu. Ndio maana tumesema ndani ya lunga tunaweka kitu inaitwa industrial park, ambayo itakuwa na viwanda ili iweze kupandisha revenue. Twende Kubwa South kuna nini? Kuna matunda tu mengi ambayo
kiwanda kiko bado hakijamalizika.
Nakuja tu hapo. Kuna matunda mengi ambayo most of the time yanaletwa hapa Kongowea. Tumesema yasiletwe Kongowea, let's do value addition, and that's why tukapump a lot of cash in that kiwanda. Sijui tuko pamoja. Samburu kuna nini?
Samburu mna mwachimba nini?
Hakuna kitu.
Hakuna, yes.
Yes. So in Samburu, what we decided, we put another industrial park in conjunction with the national government, which at that industrial park, it raised the revenue. Because right now, the only industrial park that we have is only Bonje. Hii Bonje ndio the biggest resource ambayo tunaweza pata resource kutoka kwake. So you see, a county needs a vision and a mission. And those vision and mission cannot be realized in one day.
Right.
So I like what you're breaking down, and I said earlier on that devolution should have worked. And when we began, you said that it was to decentralize power, right? Sure. But then also with the devolution, we've seen a lot of things. A report here from, again, the control of budget that says that 43 governors have been exposed for diverting county funds despite approval, right? We've seen a lot of some governors involved in graft cases. Would you say that devolution created room to devolve again graft?
I think your statement is correct. Counties are a safe haven of corruption, I would say. And I think with devolution, we also created small gods in the names of governors, where prior to an election, a governor is just a politician that can be approached by anyone, can be summoned by any authority. But post-election, a governor looks to be untouchable. You would actually assume a governor enjoys immunity. There was a case recently of the governor of Isiolo when he was appearing before Senate. This was only after there were rumors of an impeachment. Prior to that, he had been summoned severally, and he publicly in forums declined to appear before the Senate to be questioned on matters to do with resource utilization by the county of Isiolo. And that should demonstrate to you how someone who's been elected and carries with them the responsibility to oversee the implementation of policies passed by the county and the county assemblies would unilaterally decline to appear an institution like Parliament to explain the use of resources. And even when he appeared, he came without documents, so that when he was asked questions, he would say, I don't know, I need time, I need to confirm. And that confirms why someone would not walk around with documents to clear doubts as to the usage of resources allocated to a county.
Yeah.
Second, it's been issues to do with, I would avoid the word tribalism and say nepotism, because that is very rife in counties, where upon the entry of a government at the level of a county, usually there are very many adjustments and you would wonder why would a governor come to office and there are employment opportunities within the public service board. We would expect possibly vacancies within the executive and chief officers and all that. But immediately a governor assumes office, there are advertisements of drivers, secretaries, and that tells you with the coming of a new government upon election, the governor assumes the role of a god, where people will be shown the door, others will be employed, and mostly they will be their cronies, people who campaigned with them, their family members. It would make sense, say, for Bwana Speaker to lobby and come back as Speaker next time, because this is a position that has a time limit. But say someone who's a driver, not unless they were employed as casual, and again that will take us to ask why was someone employed as a casual for 5 years. So that upon an election, there is need for a new driver. That demonstrates the levels of nepotism that we witness within the county governments. And another one would be, I'm looking for the word, but the word should be where resources are used not for purposes that they're intended for. And Speaker would be quick to rebut that by saying every expense is captured in the budget. But whereas resources are being withheld by the national government, Bwana Speaker is not telling us that some of his trips have been cancelled for lack of resources, or that of the county governor, or that by the county executives. So that once we have the money brought down to the county governments do not prioritize, even by the explanation he gave, and we understand that sometimes there will be delay of release of funds by the national government. All other things would move smoothly. So if the governor is traveling and executives are traveling and MCAs are doing all that, we don't see a situation where those things have stopped because there are no funds. The sacrificial lamp on matters to do with the delay of disbursement of funds and say the county is not being able to collect taxes within their jurisdiction as required, and all that is just development.
Speaker Seth, what would you say to the issue of graft in the counties? And also, would you say the counties, again, from what Mukanzi is saying, Mukanzi is saying,
You're
sorry.
baptizing me.
From what Mukanzi is saying, would you say that counties forgot their mandate?
Not really. Not really. One or two, even if you have kids, you'll have delinquency.
Yeah.
With one or two. And I can attest that there are other counties that are actually doing bad, and the other counties, I think it's good to give credit where it needs to be. Let me tell you, I think, is it last week or this week? Last week, they released some survey, and I can attest. I've walked to these counties. For example, like Kwale, we are doing good in terms of issues health and water. We have really invested on that. For example, Muranga is actually doing good. And even if you saw the presentation by the Muranga governor the other day, it was wonderful. There are counties, for example, like Homa Bay.
Kipenzi cha serikali.
Yes, it is actually doing good.
Yeah.
There are counties like Kisumu. Kisumu is actually doing good, because you could walk in town and see the kind of cleanliness. You know, there are those aspects that you walk into a town and you say, really, there's something that has really changed. But however, I want to say something.
Yeah.
That you see, for example, the counties also, I must accept that, you know,
ukora uko.
You're putting the speaker in a tight position.
There are bad issues
Yes.
that are happening. For example, what is happening in Isiolo, it is so unfortunate. It is something that even the spirit of devolution did not want that. That a governor would look like the way he's saying, that like a demigod. But if laws are followed, I think that governor should call to term, because you find that when you see laws that have been made and someone is not actually following them, no one is above the law in this country.
Okay.
Yes.
Before you, I have a question here from one of our listeners.
Yes.
Targeted both of you. So for the advocate, he says, Ma, good morning. He says, isn't it unconstitutional waste to have 47 county bureaucracies duplicating functions already provided by national ministries, with ballooning wage bills swallowing over half the budget? And then for the speaker, he says, you are supposed to be a check on the executive, not its partners. How do you respond to the growing public perception that most MCAs are captured by governors through allowances and trips rather than standing for wananchi?
I go first.
Yes, go first, and then...
We are not paid by the governors. We have never been paid by the governors. And we are not in any way supported by the governors. Most of the county assemblies are actually autonomous in nature. The only part that we were not autonomy, it is when we were doing requisition of the funds. We had to request the CCM, that is Waziri wa Finance katika county level, kuweza kutusainia a document so that we can take it to the controller for the controller to release our funds. That is the only aspect that was making county assemblies not autonomous.
Yeah.
And I can assure you, for example, like my county assembly, I have my own budget that I actually run my MCAs. And I am asked and I answer the questions through auditors. And if the auditors find that my books are not right, they forward it to the committee on PIAC committee, which I go and answer as at why my accounts are not proper. Therefore, what I want to tell our listener is that yes, we are checks and balances, but kama mlisikiza statement ya mstahiki Raila jana ya kusema kuwa actually the Senate has watered down most of the assemblies.
Yeah.
That is true. It is because, you see, most of the governors, sahi mimi nikasema naita governor wangu to ask the question, itakuwa ngumu, lakini akiitwa Senate inakuwa rahisi.
And I'll want us to speak to that as well. Yeah.
So you see, what is happening is that yes, I do my oversight, but also the kind of oversight that the Constitution kind of created was that the assemblies become primary oversight authority, and then the Senate becomes the secondary one. So you need to also check on that.
Government spends 80 billion to pay salaries. That would translate to 960 billion and the amount is nearing a trillion mark. This is vis-a-vis a collection of 2.5 trillion. So that demonstrates that just to manage our wage bill, the government spends close to 45% to pay salaries.
Yeah.
As to if we really need all the 47 counties to be in operations, my personal opinion would be we do not need 47 counties.
How many do we need?
And while saying that, I don't mean that we need to do away with devolution. We possibly need fewer counties. I would propose the former 8 provinces with an adjustment of, say, a few more counties, so that we split the Rift Valley province, which we know would come from the top part of Kenya to the bottom side. So we would maybe have 2 counties or 3 counties from Rift Valley.
South and north.
Yes. But a former province like Western or Nyanza can be maintained as a devolved unit.
As a county.
So that we have one governor sitting.
Western.
Nyanza, one county. Western, one county. Yes.
Western.
Remember, Barisa.
Yeah.
And why I would say that. The staff attached to a governor.
Yes.
You'd find a governor has how many security officers? The speaker would help us with
6.
that.
No, just 3.
3.
Yes.
And a CEC has how many?
CC Hana.
CEC Hana. Now here is the math. If you have one governor, if you have Western province has how many counties? 5.
5.
So you have 15 police officers manning governors. So if you have one, you only have 3 police officers, right? The rest are released to take care of the public and maintain law and order. So you will increase the number of CECs so that they move around the Western province. And remember, he says they don't come with a police officer. The number of staff attached to a governor is not equal to the number of staff attached to a CEC. So you can effectively have more head of departments running around the county, which will now be a bigger county, to oversee functions and operations of the county.
How many CSM would you have for that?
Of course, you will
have
CECs according to the number of departments devolved. You can't have a CEC, say, for defense.
The speaker disagrees.
Let me
finish before you come there. But I will still continue.
Yes.
How many cars is a governor allocated? How many cars are the governor allocated? A single governor. So that if we have one governor in place of 5. And remember, why would we have a county assembly sitting in Bungoma, Kakamega, Trans Nzoia, Busia, and Vihiga passing a policy, say, decision on ECD when we can have one decision that cuts across
the Western,
all this? Yeah, okay. And you're paying all this.
Just a moment, Wakili.
Okay.
for the security I'm given, and the car that I am driven in, I pay for it through fringe benefit. Even the stuff that I'm given from the PA, all those that I'm given, I pay for them. And all the governors,
the PA, the driver.
Yes, they pay for them. We have something
Who
called...
pays for it?
I or the governor pays for them.
Where
you see, I am not allocated. I'm not allocated any car. You see, the MCAs are given loan, and they are given a monthly stipend to ensure that they get. For I, and the governor and the deputy governor, we are not given any loan. Car loan, we are not given. Hatupewi. Na tena, on top of that, we pay for fringe benefit. The askaris that we have, we pay for them 2,000 per day.
Where do you get the funds to pay the police officer?
Out of our salaries.
Now imagine if we had one speaker in that whole region.
Yes.
And your salary was not part of the wage bill of that county.
Let me open the eyes for wananchi. You know, at most instances, many people think that ati hizi vitu zinakuja tu ati
fuel gas la kumbe kwa hivyo na mafuta mnajiwekea.
No, mafuta ni ya serikali. Mafuta ni ya serikali.
His salary has been put up there and he's been asked to take care of these things. So essentially he's not paying. If today I gave you $1 million and asked you to travel, and then you say you traveled with your money, if today the speaker was paid an amount of money in form of salary,
Barisa,
and you're told to take care of the security, the car, the fuel, is he taking it with his own
Kuna
money?
allowance hapo ya askari.
So what Titus is saying is that they have been given enough funds to accommodate.
No.
And we would have one speaker in place of 5. Those funds will go to develop.
Okay.
Seth disagrees.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
I disagree because let me tell you, you can imagine only Kwale County alone. It starts from Lunga all the way to Makinan Road, Voi.
But you as speaker, what do? You oversee an institution that passes legislation. You would comfortably sit in Mombasa and your legislation would positively or negatively affect someone in Lamu.
In Tana
We don't
River.
need a county
Kiunga.
assembly in Lamu.
Imagine.
We need that document to be taken to Lamu, and we would have county officers there
Now,
to
from
implement what needs
Mombasa
to be
to
done.
Kiunga.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you, and this is what I usually talk.
Yeah.
And I say, in fact, if you've really seen what devolution works, you know, unakumbuka wakati Moi, kama watu wanakumbuka wakati wa
Local government.
No, wakati wa Moi ulikuwa unaambiwa siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. You know that statement used to have a lot of repercussion. Alikuwa akisema hivyo, siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. Inamaanisha kwa hiyo position yenu amtapata kitu yoyote kwa miaka yake yenye amekuwa president.
Okay. But Seth, would you say with the yes, we do have the 47 counties, and Titus is saying there are too many, right? Would you say, if we look at the 47 counties, and I would have said, excuse yourself from being the speaker, but you are the speaker of Kwale. So with the 47 counties, there's some that are working, there's some that are not working. Would you say there is need to merge some of this? Let
me tell you, I've walked these counties. To be sincere, I've really walked. Even if you say you are merging,
yeah,
una merge. For example, tuseme tuna merge ati Kwale na
zilikuwa ziwe mbili hapa pwani, zilikuwa ziwe mbili.
Yani tuseme tu merge Kwale, Mombasa na Taveta.
Yes.
Let me tell you, that region is huge. And let me
How
tell
huge?
You,
and for the reasons that the region is huge, it means you need more resources. Let's take speaker's salary and that of the speaker of Taita Taveta. Let's have one speaker sitting in Mombasa. Let's reduce the
salary yake haitakuwa hiyo ya 400.
Salary ya wa speaker wawili itakuwa pesa ya kujenga madarasa ya ECD, watoto wasisomee kwa mti.
Okay, Seth, let's hear you.
Let me tell you, that is misleading. Let me tell you, my salary, it is in P&E budget. The budget, let me tell you, right now hata nikatoka kuwa speaker, hiyo pesa haitachukuliwa ati yekwe kwa development.
Yeah.
Sijui kama tuko pamoja paka hapo.
Oh.
Budget iko na vitengo, na paka vile vitengo vinafika paka vinaitwa iko na vitengo, and you see my salary haiwezi toka kwa salary tukasema hata tunaiweka kwa O&M.
Oh.
Because the law has not been amended. If we were to reduce the
Sijui
counties,
pamoja,
law will be adjusted
O&M,
and his allocation will go to development.
Hawezi toa O&M ukasema unaweka kwa development. So my salary does not even affect
development.
My salary is less, because according to the law it's supposed to be, I think 35% also of the, haitakani kupita ile 35% of the total budget ya county mzima.
Okay.
Yani
salary yako.
No, ya county mzima. Okay. Haitakani kupita ile 35%. So you can imagine there is a whole 65%. So whether nitoke ama nisitoke, ile amount yenye iko pale itabaki tu pale.
All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Now Raila has been talking. Wewe umetaja.
Yes.
Naanza na wewe wakili.
Yeah.
Raila amesema na huku chini tuko na ECD peke yake.
Yeah.
Huku ngazi za magavana.
Yeah.
Amesema secondary pia nayo ishuke huku chini. Maseneta waachane na hiyo kasumba yenye wanafanya ya ku-oversight magavana. Hiyo role iende county assembly kwa mheshimiwa speaker. How would that look like?
And whereas I would support the position by Honorable Odinga so that ile sector ya elimu ikuwe devolved fully, I would be very reluctant that it be done in the current circumstances. I would be reluctant to have the education sector fully devolved before we sort some of the messes we have just outlined this morning. Before we even see the health sector, which was devolved much in a larger scale than the education sector worked effectively, I would be very reluctant to have the education sector fully devolved.
Yeah.
Before we see the MCS empowered to a level they cannot be bribed. Yesterday, the president alluded to the fact that persons in the positions of the Senate
Yes.
would be bribed,
150 million.
what would happen to an MCA?
Yeah.
So that we ask the governor to appear before a county assembly, before MCAs that earn, I don't know,
92 after deduction.
20% of the salary of the governor.
Uh,
Someone who's much more powerful in finances, in executive power.
Yeah.
I would be reluctant to have that happen. And of course, we are in agreement with the speaker because he mentioned before, if the governor was meant to appear before the county assembly, all counties will get a clean bill. Because even the amount of bribe that will be asked wouldn't get to the levels of 150 million. Maybe it will be 30, maybe
so
50.
What would you suggest MCAs walipe? Because they're being paid 144, deduction 92. Kitu kama hiyo, right?
Because
ndio wakuwe na nguvu ya kumuita
the
governor.
economy seems not to be working. My suggestion would be quite radical. How about we reduce the salary of the governor and the benefits, so that we bridge the gap, not to pay the MCA more. We reduce the salaries of the governor and the benefits he gets courtesy of that position.
Let me probably interject on that.
Okay.
You cannot reduce someone's salary. We need to move forward.
Okay.
And where I am seated, I would prefer,
yes,
even if the government would put a disparity in the payments.
Okay.
That county yenye natoa revenue nzuri, wache MCAs wao walipwe vizuri.
To how, kwa kiwango gani?
So that we, when we are moving forward, let's move forward. Tukiwa na pia hiyo motivation and things like that. We need to have talks like that ya kuwa wacha unajua MCAs wakijua kuwa sisi tukifanya oversight vizuri, si revenue inapanda.
Kwa hivyo tuwafanye
incentives zetu pia zinapanda.
And what would you say
that would be the direction that we go, rather than
how much should it be paid kwa MCA ndo asiwe governor asiwe na nguvu ya kumbribe?
Maybe much better than the senator, because the senator is already
senator is 1 point something
anakula.
Salim, still to you, because I really want to understand. Titus has responded to that, that it will be difficult to have the MCAs hold the county governments, or rather the governors, accountable. What would you say to that statement when Raila said that county governments should be overseen by county assemblies?
It is high time, and I think in my statement before the president in devolution, I alluded to that the county assemblies needs to be reinforced in terms of their oversight, their accountability. They need to be given the right facilities to ensure that we deliver our mandate as county assemblies, because at times you find that you're going to do a primary oversight in a certain facility. Ukifika hapo unapata senators pia wamefika. So all right. Who are you going to give priority?
Yeah.
Because wale ni wageni wametoka mbali, inabidi the MCAs step back.
All right.
Rather than me, I give solutions also. You see, like what I've done with my county is that if I hear the senators coming, we do a report on that same issue yenye they want to come, and then we give them the report, rather than senators needs to get the reports from the county assemblies. Okay. And for them to reinforce the counties, they need, because we pass reports every now and then, we pass reports.
Okay, let's wrap up. Parting shot when we look at devolution. I know we have conflicting opinions here, but when you're looking at future of devolution, what would you say? What's your parting shot, Titus, Mukanzi?
And this would be my parting shot, that we need to relook our constitution.
Yeah.
We need to go down to the fabric of what gave birth to devolution. It's time, 13 years later, if we would still see the challenges we have outlined this morning, it's time to rework the system and ask ourselves questions like the one that was shot by your listener, as to if first we need 47 counties. And if we do need the 47 counties, what do we do to have the wage bill reduced? Are there expenses that are necessary with our counties that we can do away with? Are there ways we can strengthen devolution and make it attack-free from the national government? Are there ways, as Bona Speaker says, you can't reduce someone's salaries? Is it at the free will of the legislators to reduce the allocation to the counties? Or can it be capped and say we can only increase and not reduce? so that we enjoy the fruits of devolution at the levels we would expect to enjoy at such a time, 13 years after the inception of the counties. There is more to be done. It is doable with the people who have the right mindset and the understanding of devolution. And of course, because elections happen and it's Kenyans who vote, I think I would ask on our listeners to carefully scrutinize persons that will be offering themselves to serve in the various positions, starting from the lowest position to the topmost position, so that we get people whom in their right thinking are pro-devolution, a president who is pro-devolution, senators, MCAs, and all elected leaders. I think there is still room for devolution to work.
All right.
Thank you.
Senator, Speaker.
At least my colleague here, Wakili, has concluded at a high note.
After crossing to my side.
So what I want to say is that federal systems have worked in many other countries, and I want to give you unique countries that this thing has created economy. For example, the German has several federal systems that are actually working. China has several federal systems or unique governance systems that are actually working. And these systems have been created in a way that, for example, if you go to Guangzhou now, it is a federal system that is actually an economy that even us in Kenya right now, we cannot match it. Therefore, I think in the weaknesses that we have right now, we need to look into the strengths that we can tap and ensure the same way as China and German. For example, the VWs that you see around here, they're being manufactured in Frankfurt. And that devolved system in German is an economy that can even finance the whole world right now. Therefore, I think if we can have the vision and focus towards that ikiwa Nairobi is a system, for example, like Kwale, we need to identify that Kwale has the uniqueness of being a tourist destination. Let's pump a lot of funds, ensure that we uplift it so that it becomes the Dubai of Kenya, so that anyone who thinks goes to Diani, so that apate ile fikra ya kuweza kuwa na utulivu. Let's think counties like Makueni and Machakos. Those are sectors that we can tap into fruit manufacture. Let's tap other sectors where we can say a certain county, this is our theme for you. We want you to be cloth making county. Another county, this is an assembly unit making county. So if we have that kind of vision, I can assure you hii Kenya tutaendelea mbele sana. Kwa hayo machache asante.
Thank you so much. We have been speaking to Honorable Seth Mwatela Kamanza. He's the Speaker of Kwale County, and Titus Mukanzi, an advocate of the High Court. And of course, we've been looking at the future of devolution. Is devolution working? There's a lot to do, and I think we also have the responsibility as citizens. Next time, 2027, come 2027, make sure as you're voting, vote the right person to be in that position, okay? Up next, we're going to speak to Paul Akwabi. He is the CEO of Tech Kids Africa. We're going to look at AI. Is AI taking over? And Kenya has been ranked among the top countries, by the way, that are using ChatGPT. Wait.